What is going on, everybody out there? All of you beauts and beauties. It is episode number 105 of Hat Trick Hockey, which is always brought to you by our good friends over at GL Heritage, the official beer of Hat Trick Hockey. If you like my sweet hoodie right here, you just smash the link on the post. It'll bring you straight into our HTH store where you can get all of your sweet HTH merch. Welcome to the show, as always, every week. My boy, my line mate, Rob. What shirt is that?
Slim Pickerel.
Where'd you get that?
So a good friend of ours, his wife plays on Misty's team. He's in a band.
Okay.
Slim Pickerel. So they're going to be at the Peacock in December.
Sweet.
But they play all around, and I'm pretty sure they have a website. You look up some Pickerel or
Probably
Facebook. It's on there.
Yeah.
It's all over the place. So I got this shirt for free.
Sweet.
Thanks, Shayna.
Yeah, that's a nice shirt.
It is.
Dude, what have you been up to? It feels like we haven't fucking talked in forever.
Bro, man.
How was your weekend?
I got to give a couple of birthday shout outs.
Yeah.
My brother Kenny.
Total beaut.
Yeah. August 6th. So we're the 4th today. So Saturday, we got a big golf game planned. Me,
boy.
Kenny, Chicky, Sean O'Bide. Yeah, it's just the four of us. That's all he could get for, what a bunch of losers he hangs around with. I can't believe it.
How old is he now?
35.
Okay, so he's
I want to say 35.
years younger than me.
I want to say 35.
Yeah,
it could be 34, but I think it's a big 3-5. So yeah, and then so we went out Monday. We went out to Bellevue, and I brought Jack out and Doug. Fuck you, Doug.
Yeah.
And Luke, and we went out, and guess who was the ranger?
Who?
Donnie McDermott.
Come on.
Oh fuck yeah. And we showed up maybe a little bit late, not within 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But Donnie runs a tight ship, and he's
fucking right.
Boys, I'm 3 ahead of you. And he's and if you're gonna do this at any other time, don't do it on Monday, Thursday, or Tuesday. Because those are the days I work.
I was just gonna say, so those are the days that he works.
It was so funny. I was in tears, and I'm like, "So Donnie, at least you can't cut us." And he's like, "But I got gloves."
Oh, that's
yeah. He's got his driving gloves. So it was pretty awesome. We had a great round, and we had a whole bunch of fun. But I do have to tell you one story. So I go into the Woodcraft, and me and Misty go into the Woodcraft. We sit down against the wall, and this guy with this big long table, before where the band plays, he turns around and he's like, "Hat Trick Hockey," and I'm like, "Yeah," I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" He's like, "Oh, me and my son listen to you all the time." And I'm like, that is so cool. You know what I mean? Just getting recognized. I wasn't wearing any gear. I wasn't wearing anything. They just knew who I was, and it was pretty special. We got to talk to the dad, and he told me his name, and you know how I am with names. It could have been Carlo Koliakovo, but it wasn't. But it was awesome. It was such a pleasure meeting fans of the show, and I just had a
humble
blast.
brag.
Oh, and it was Katie Obide's birthday that night. So yeah, we kind of got after it.
So happy birthday, Katie.
Katie Obide
birthday,
and Kenny Sawyer.
And on August 9th, my mom and my uncle, they'll be celebrating their birthdays as well. So happy birthday, Mom and Uncle Larry. They're
Oh,
they're
that's so awesome.
our twins. So, but he
That's so
lives up
awesome.
north.
Oh,
So
can I say one more?
shoot it.
Uh, today is Mom's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to wish you a heavenly birthday, Ma.
Mm-hmm.
I
We're
love
thinking
you.
of you. We're
I
thinking of
love
you.
you. And I think about you every day.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay, let's
Um,
go.
hey, how did you golf that day?
Oh, darts. Darts,
Darts.
bro.
Love
Me
it.
and me and fuck you, Doug. We or no, now so Doug's on the team for the
Breeze
73s
tourney.
tournament.
Yeah.
So we want to go FUD. We want
Fuck you, Doug.
yeah, and we want to have HTH on.
Oh
So
fuck.
we're Amanda, I'm sure, is
Yeah,
gonna make up us a couple of shirts.
that's
So
hilarious.
yeah, so everything's gonna be
Who do you
fun.
have for that?
I have Billy,
Yeah.
former spot. What do you call
Producer
it?
Billy.
Producer,
Yeah.
former Billy producer. I have uh, Doug.
Fuck
I
you, Doug.
have Kenny Sylvester.
Okay. So you have the same team.
Same team.
Yeah. So yeah, I have me, Chris
Yeah,
Ballard,
I don't quit
Matt
my
Bryant.
boys. I don't quit my boys.
Rob, we haven't heard from Rob. So and then Woody just golfed with us, so Woody's gonna hop in with us too. So dude, I've been fucking just loving golf this year. Like I am having a fucking fantastic time playing. I just traded in a few clubs and everything, few clubs that I don't really use. I were just kind of laying around and shit. I traded them into this one site, which I'm not going to say because I'm not giving them a free fucking thing because they're a big place. But anyway, so I sent in some clubs or whatever, and I ended up where I got a new driver. So I went to
Does it hit it
Bellevue
straight?
today.
No.
It does because it's offset. So it takes away that fucking slice to the right. Right. So it takes that away. And I was hitting it today just pin straight. I was like, thank God. And yeah, you don't have to swing it hard. You just have to be smooth.
Yep.
And it's just everything's dead straight. I was just like, oh, I could get used to
Awesome.
this. Like, finally. So it's been pretty good. It's been pretty good, but I've been off. We've just been hanging out with the kids. I was laid off this week. We're going back next week, I guess. I'm on days, but which is good for who knows how long we'll be back, right? I get messages and shit all the time. People like, oh, like, are we working next week? I'm like, I don't know. Like, they're kind of doing a week to week basis type deal with it right now.
Right.
So it's kind of sucks, but yeah. So the hockey world is obviously slow. Um, I seen that one guy from the Flames sign no Mangiapane or whatever. Is that how you say it?
Yep.
So I know he signed. He signed like a 3 or 4 year deal. I didn't get what he's making AAV, but I did see that one. But other than that, I haven't really seen too much of you.
Yes,
Anything
I just saw one.
anything that rings a bell?
Yeah, I actually fuck, I read all about it too today. But I've been drinking heavily. So no, it was
I
oh, it
know.
was the Cadre thing. It was the Cadre thing. It was about
Oh, him going to the island.
no,
No,
no. I don't think he's going to the island. I think he's waiting for
Colorado
Colorado
to,
to figure their shit out
yeah, to clear.
and they'll go from there. But there was another one that was
Before we like kind of move on from the cadre thing,
hmm?
want to know what makes me think that it might be Long Island there is because it's Lou, sweet Lou, and Lou doesn't like anything in the press. It's been too quiet.
Who's the son of a bitch, right?
But he doesn't like anything in the press, right?
No,
So with him not liking anything in the press, and think about how quiet it's been
you
lately on
sneaky
that whole
Pete.
thing, right? So
Yeah,
that's
for
what makes
sure.
me think too. Like, is Sweet Lou behind the fucking? I think it's going to be either back in Colorado or he's going to the Islanders. I think it's going to be one of those two. I don't care what they say about. They've said the Red Wings. They've said this. They've said that. It's not going to be Detroit. I don't think he's going to go to Detroit. But
So I think I got something here. So I had the.
by the way, for Wings fans, they still have to sign Larkin and they still have to sign Burt. So I can't really see there being cap room for Nazem Kadri.
Excuse me. Did the Avs head coach step down?
I'm not sure. I didn't see anything on it.
Mm-hmm.
Is it recent, fresh news, hot off the press?
Yeah, like, huh. No. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's the Chatham Maroons steps
Oh,
down
okay.
as head coach and gets bumped to general manager.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty good. Sweet. Is
Yeah.
there anything else really or no?
No, that's it.
So we got my boy from Harrow, Chris Leeming, talk on the pod. He played in Oshawa Junior. He played everywhere around. But before we go to that, this interview is brought to you by Mr. Pooper Scooper. If poop is a pain in your grass, these are the guys that you're going to want to talk to. They use everything that they use, spraying, whatever they use. It's all friendly. It's all safe for your pets, safe for your kids, safe for everybody. These guys are amazing. They do incredible work. They will leave your yard spick and span. Jeremy and Jeff are the two guys that do it, and they are phenomenal. They're all over social like media too, dad jokes, stuff like that. They're incredible guys. They do a great service as well. So if you guys, I think rates start around $14 or $15 a dog, so it's pretty good. So check them out at Mr. They're everywhere. They're on Instagram, Facebook. They're everywhere. Check them out. So until then, we'll go to our interview here with Chris. Rob and I are going to sign off. We'll talk to you guys next week. Enjoy the interview, everybody. And Chris Leeming.
Roll it.
This episode of Hat Trick Hockey is brought to you by Mike McDonald at Allstate Insurance. Mike has been in the insurance biz for about 5 years or more. And not only is it home insurance, auto insurance, there's also life insurance, travel insurance. He has everything: boat, ATV, RV, motorcycle, even pet, you name it. Mike is your guy for all of your insurance needs. If you ever need to get in touch with Mike, you can contact him at 226-774-0308. Well, this next cat we have on here is one of my Harrow boys, where he obviously grew up playing his minor hockey, went on to the AAA system where he played with the Sun County Panthers. And then he had stops in junior in Bowmanville, Oshawa Generals, where he played in the O for a little bit, spent about 3 seasons with the LaSalle Vipers. You can now actually catch him in his, well, not new coaching role, as he's been there for 5 years with the old college Broncos. Let's welcome to the show my boy, Chris Leeming. Chris, how you doing, buddy?
Good, Ant, Rob. Good to see you guys. Thanks for having me.
Dude, how's life out west? Like, how long have you been out there?
This fall will be year 6. Kind of how I ended up here. I graduated from university. I had a.
Sorry about that, Chris.
I think all the beers out of my fridge are gone, so I'm sitting here drinking bubblies.
The Bublé.
Yeah, so I graduated from, the Bublés. I graduated from the University of Windsor with a Bachelor of Education, and I was kind of looking for a teaching or a coaching job because I'd been coaching for about 7 years at that point. And an opportunity came up. There was a posting for Olds College out here, and I didn't really know what it was, to be honest with you, but it was a full-time gig. And so I threw my name in for it, and then I got a over-the-phone interview, and then they flew me out here for an in-person interview. The next day they offered me the job, and then I kind of packed up my stuff and had to sell my Ford Focus because I couldn't really transport much of my life out here. And that I ended up buying a truck so I could fit in Alberta.
Great car though.
Yeah,
Great car.
yeah. Manual, 5-speed, could tuck that baby anywhere. But yeah, so it's like I said, it's going on year 6 out here for me. It's definitely a different lifestyle. Don't want to get into politics and all that stuff, but it's a little bit, things are managed a little bit differently out here. We're
Better or worse?
There's more freedom out here. Let's just put it that way.
I like it. I like it.
Oh yeah. I'm not going to get into all the COVID stuff, but it was a lot less strenuous than it was in Ontario. But
brutal.
yeah, I mean, I like where I'm at. I live in a town of about 10,000 people right now, so it's kind of like a happy medium between Harrow and Kingsville. We're just an hour north of Calgary, and then another hour west of the mountains, so we can get to Banff in about 2 hours. So, in the 5 years we've been out here, we've done quite a bit of travel out here. We've gone to Jasper, we've gone through the Rocky Mountains, and it's pretty sweet. I got to say, like, there's hikes you can do everywhere, and it's pretty incredible. Like, there's not lakes like, Lake Erie, the Great Lakes that we have back there where you can't see the other side of it. You can see the other side of most of the lakes out here, but just the scenery, the hikes, man, you get on top of the mountains. There's a couple you can look down on Lake Louise. It's pretty incredible.
Can you swim in those lakes, Chris?
Yeah, if it's really frigid though.
Yeah, but not like these lakes. So like you either have the E. coli or you can just freeze your balls off.
Yeah, exactly. But it's always like the Seinfeld quote, like a frightened turtle shrinking. So it's but no, it's pretty cool. It's
now
pretty
you keep
awesome.
saying we. Who's we?
My wife and I actually just got married.
I was just gonna say
congratulations.
Congrats.
Thanks. Yeah, it was pretty sweet. We ended up no, I'm happy. It's a good thing.
Good for you. Good for you.
We got married and we ended up doing it in Canmore. Canmore is about 15 minutes before you get to Banff. So original plan was to do it at Sprucewood Winery and just out in Colchester there. And with everything COVID related, I guess I said I wasn't going to talk about it. Here I am, but it kind of, we weren't comfortable with it, with that. And, we didn't want to have a masked seated wedding, no dancing, no party kind of thing. So that's kind of, I guess, where the benefit of Alberta came in, where they didn't have as strict guidelines. So we just went ahead and shifted gears and ended up having it on a Monday. We had a smaller venue. We had like 30 people come, just a wedding party, immediate family. And it went really well. Like the backdrop, we did have a brand new hotel. It was just built, I think 2 or 3 years ago at the Malcolm Hotel. Looks onto the Three Sisters Parkway, like the backdrop from our photos. I haven't seen them yet, but just being in that room was pretty incredible. And, being surrounded.
We'll show you when you need to see them.
Yeah, exactly. We've got the teaser photos, but we haven't seen the whole shebang yet. Yeah.
That's awesome, Chris. Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Hey, you're 1990, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So who was all on like your squads growing up? Because you always played like travel out in Harrow. I know because you guys would always play a game or two ahead of us.
Yes.
Right. Because you guys are so younger. They always had all the home games Friday nights. Right. So you guys would always be a few games ahead of us. So who were like you with?
Guys my age, Mike Houston. Huey, he was my best man, actually. Like Chad McDonald, Herdman, like Bezaire.
Which Bezaire? There's 8 billion.
Brandon Bezaire. Okay. Yeah, I grew up with Brandon. And
what a beauty.
Army. Yeah, wearing a shirt, working out today. So
awesome.
Just those guys like Justin Huffman, like Blake Clifford, like all those guys, Eric Sinasak, like those are the boys I grew up with. We had a pretty athletic age group. Gym class was always fun because no matter what sport we played, we had a lot of athletic guys and it was always competitive. So I think that kind of contributed to, all the athletes, the guys that kept playing sports, into their older years now.
Mm-hmm.
Sacker's a beauty. He's one of my favorite people in the world.
Yeah. I was going to say, did you guys end up winning anything growing up? Did
hockey wise, one year it would have been my first year. Bantam Flip Cup, won a lot of those.
They're all good at that, trust me.
I know. I played them in softball when they had the league out there. I know who all they are.
Hockey wise, we made it to the finals one year in Bantam when it was first year, so I would have been playing with all the guys a year older than me, like Mike McDonald, Josh Huffman, like that crew. We went to the finals one year. We ended up playing Campbellford in the finals, and like it was like, I don't know how we played them. The town of 3,000 people. We rolled in. They had like a bridge in their city and a hospital, and it was like playing against like Leamington or or like Tecumseh or something. I'm like, this didn't seem fair, but and anyways, that's that. In terms of hockey, we didn't, but we won a lot of OBA championships. We played, that whole group played baseball for a lot of years together too, and that was a lot of fun. I played until senior ball. I played, I think, senior for about 3 or 4 years, and then I just kind of got too busy and priorities changed a bit, and I kind of stepped away. I miss it every summer, but like I said, I think we won quite a few OBA championships. That was pretty fun. That was a pretty cool thing to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
small town.
I know you guys have done a bunch of that.
Yeah.
So the name Lemmy, did it come after the Motorhead singer?
I don't think so. Honestly,
You're gonna have to talk to your pop about this one.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah, he's got a couple generations on me. So yeah, my last name's Leaming. It's pronounced with 2 E's, right? And some people always say Lemming, and my dad was nicknamed Lem. So that's kind of what I inherited that name, I guess, just because being his son, I guess.
Well, if your dad was called Lem, then I'm sure that's what it was from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's crazy,
brother,
what's nuts too, is I actually grew up playing with his older brother there, Corey. And every town we went into, and like Chris said when we were off the air, every town we went into, they always said it Lemming. Like there was always like you were saying, like there's 2 E's, you know what I mean? But every town, Rob, every single town.
So do you want to pronounce it properly then? So everybody gets a gist of it?
Leaming. Yeah.
Leaming.
Yeah, I remember watching you play, Ant. You played with Moose. Moose would be a big truck out there and just send a message.
We used to just let him skate, and I would skate right with the puck. He would skate in front, and I would skate behind him, and he'd clear me a path. Man, he's a big boy.
Like the fucking Mighty Ducks.
He's just guys would run at him, dude, and they would just bounce off of him.
Who's Moose?
Such a big kid.
My older brother, Corey.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize his name was.
Yeah, he's a large lad. I remember Corey. We were playing high school. I think it was my senior year, I want to say. And we were playing Essex, I think. And this kid did something to him, and he chopped him down like a tree. Got a 5-minute major, kicked out of the game. I mean, he slashed this kid so hard. I never heard a kid scream like that. But he chopped him, and I was just like, I thought it was weird because that's kind of out of Corey's game type deal. Like, not really what he does. But I'm like, man, you had to have pissed him off in order for him to slash you like that.
Yeah, I think him and Cody have a little bit of a more fiery attitude than me. I might have skipped a generation here, but
and you're the smaller one out of the 3, aren't you? And you're a big boy yourself.
No, I'm actually the tallest. I'm 6'2".
Are you? But they're more like this, aren't they? Like
Corey is.
Corey's a big boy.
Cody's built a little bit more like me. He's a little bit skinnier, leaner. Yeah.
Oh man, Jesus. Hey,
but
so
Cody was dirty. Cody was a greasy hockey player, and I can't wait till he hears me say that.
There you go, Cody. He's gunning for you. So how old were you when you went to Bowmanville? What was your how was that squad there?
So that's to the OJHL. So that's the tier 2 junior A league up in. They don't really have any of the teams down our way in southwestern Ontario. So I'll backtrack just a little bit there. I would have been 17 when I went there, but I played Sun County, like you had mentioned there. I broke my collarbone in November during my draft year, so I didn't play again until May. So I missed the rest of the season. I missed a lot of the big scouting tournaments, like the Marlies tournament. I didn't play again until under 17 camp, and I guess I played on adrenaline the whole weekend because I got selected as an alternate to go to the Team Ontario camp, and just because I missed so much time, actually, there was a lot of teams that had already picked their 16-year-olds, and I didn't have a place to play. So I went back and played midget major AAA for the Spitfires organization. And then halfway through the year, Sean Marin Tate was coaching the Comets, and he kind of connected with me, and I played the second half with them. So, being 16, being able to play, that's kind of what I needed to do, right? I need to play against older guys, get a little bit of junior experience before moving on. Obviously, I was hoping to get to the OHL at some point after being drafted by Oshawa, and Bowmanville was their affiliate team. So that's kind of how I ended up there the following season. I went to the Gens camp, and they just said, you kind of missed a big chunk of development here. So we want to keep you close. There's some intangibles about your game that we like, and we want to just keep you around and, kind of help facilitate your development a little bit. So that was Bowmanville was about 20 minutes past Oshawa. So, I got to go skate with them a number of times throughout the year. But that was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun in Bowmanville. I got to billet with a guy that was from Bowmanville, grew up there and ended up on the team. So, networking was easy. Like, he knew everybody. I got to meet everyone in the community, and I still keep in touch with him. So his name's also Chris. Yeah, like, it's just, you meet a lot of people in the hockey world, and the hockey world's pretty small, but that was something pretty cool for me. And, I keep in touch with his parents and whatnot. So they're awesome people. I'm very grateful to have that, the opportunity to live with someone locally like that.
Now, Chris, can we go back to Marintet being the coach of Kingsville, and you getting to have a little stint there with him? What was he like as a coach?
Tater, he's high energy. He could get wound up. He's fun. And obviously I had known him, right? Because, Harrow, and like I said, Mike Houston's is my best friend, was my best man at my wedding. He worked at Laser Art for a lot of years. So I'd always drop in there and hang out for a bit and shoot the shit with Tater. And, we always talk hockey. And
now we're talking about Sean, right?
Yeah. Sean Marin Tate. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Just to make everybody clear, because there's a lot of people that listen to the show that might be from Essex that know who Sean is. And you know what I mean? Like,
Yep. Yeah.
I've known him as a lot of nicknames, but Tater wasn't one of them.
That's probably the most appropriate nickname you've heard.
It's the best one we could say on podcast.
But yeah, no, he was good. He was great. And obviously, he reached out and wanted to help I'm grateful for that, right? He wanted to help a local guy out. And there's been a string of Harrow guys that have kind of gone through that Kingsville organization. I know Purse played there a couple of years after me. I think Jamie Clee played there for a year or two, didn't he, when he was younger? Yeah. So that was awesome. It was a pretty cool experience. And being a 16-year-old, you get that first experience playing against older guys, stronger guys. It kind of took a little bit of there's a transition period for sure, but it was a lot of fun, right? Like, that's what I wanted to do. I needed to get experience playing against older, stronger guys.
Right. And then you had the awesome opportunity to do it with somebody that you were comfortable with and, push it to the next level.
Yeah, exactly. And at that time, Dylan Deslip was on the team too. So we carpooled from Harrow all the time. We got to play together. So that was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Junior C is a lot of fun. Let's put it that way.
But see, that's the crazy thing that I don't like about the hockey DB and whatever is because they don't put the junior C in there. And that's where most of your junior A or junior B, come from, where they get their start. Like you get your Sun County, and then you either go C, B, A, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I was thinking about it the other day when Ant contacted me. I got to play every level of junior. Like, I played C, B, Tier 2 Junior A, and then OHL. So I kind of touched them all a little bit. Yeah. So
you took the scenic route.
Yes.
Right.
I went, C, junior, Tier 2, and then I played a little, like, I was up with the Gens. I had concussion problems. That's kind of how everything came to an end for me, my playing career, and that's how I got into coaching. So
who was your coach at the Sun County?
First year I had Kevin McIntosh, actually. He's a local guy. He was from Harrow. He's actually Brandon's father-in-law, right? Brandon's wife, Amy, that's her dad. So again, just small world, right? Like, I've kind of grew up with Brandon, was always hanging out there, and I'd see Kevin all the time. And then all of a sudden he was coaching me in AAA the one year. And then he was actually our general manager in LaSalle for the Vipers.
So yeah, he knows
awesome.
his shit. Hey, when you went into you said you went into a camp in Oshawa, right?
Yeah. I was drafted by the Oshawa Generals.
So what kind of guys were in that camp? I know you had a couple NHLers that are now in the NHL that were in that camp, correct?
Yeah, I'd say the most notable one was John Tavares. He was the man. he got exceptional status. And then a couple of years later, I was there in the stands, mind you, watching the game when he broke the OHL scoring record. It was pretty cool to just see that guy on a daily basis, right? Like just to practice against him, watch his hands, and just see his demeanor and how he prepared. And it's tough in junior hockey, right? Like there's some guys that are super serious and some guys that are there for a good time, but they're good at hockey, right? So, and I really, admired the fact that he was able to just keep himself separated. And I mean, he separated himself in a number of ways, but, like I said, just every day, that guy was just prepared, way more prepared than everybody, every single day for every single thing that we did as a group. And it was something to, learn from, for sure.
Yeah. Cause you had, Delzato was there too, right?
Yeah. Delly was a great guy. He was a beauty.
Guess who else was in that camp?
Dale Mitchell.
Yeah,
I do my research.
Justin Shug.
I do my research.
So that's what
Sugar,
so that's what you just looked at on your phone?
No, I took a screenshot of because I couldn't remember which one, because he played with Anthony Iaquina too.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And LaSalle, I believe you did.
Don't call me out on this shit.
I actually missed the Iaquina's time there. I didn't actually play with him. I know Quina, but I never actually played with him. Yeah, I think he went back to Lakeshore or Bell River after by the time I came back. Mm-hmm. We were with LaSalle the same year, but he went back, I'm pretty sure, is what happened. So I never actually played with Quinner.
Did you ever get to play any games in Windsor? Like, I know you only got a few games up there in the O, but did you get to play in Windsor at all?
No, I never actually got to play there. I came back and I got to ride the bus all the way down to Windsor to sit in the stands and watch them play the barn, and had some friends and family come out and got to catch up with them because I'd been gone for a few months at that point, but never actually got to play in Windsor, unfortunately.
So what was it like playing with Dale Mitchell? What kind of hockey player was he like?
He was chippy, hard-nosed, really skilled. Like he was
just a grinder, eh?
A tough guy to play against. Guy you want on your team that you hate to play against, essentially, right? And he was pretty vocal. He was high energy. Like he was, yeah. So
that guy would score monstrous goals too.
Yeah. He's the dirtiest mustache probably in coaching right now.
Yeah, he had that at 16 too, actually.
That's hilarious. I could see that
because we love him. We love him on the show. Like he's the Leamington coach, and we've had him on the show a couple of times, and I go out and watch Leamington games, and they're always feeding me pasta and chicken parm, whatever.
Yeah.
Like I just squeeze in there every once in a while. So
yeah, no, I like Mitch.
He's a pretty great guy.
Nice to me there. He was good to be there. I mean,
and they got Mark Rideout too with them. He's an assistant coach.
Boy. He's a tough guy.
Yeah, but he was telling us, we had him on the podcast, and he was telling us about going over to Detroit, going to the Kronk's gym and learning how to box like in that era so he could learn how to fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was incredible.
Yeah. I remember growing up, that's what a lot of guys did.
Yeah.
They were like, I want some boxing lessons so I can go, beat the wheels off somebody and get some extra minutes.
Yeah. And you will get extra minutes and you'll get extra space, right? Like, if you really
learn respect that way.
Yeah. And that's the way hockey was. Now it's just like 100 miles an hour, keep up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus he's absolutely jacked too, that guy. He's jacked.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Yeah. And also like he swore no one said the word fuck more than anybody than him on this show. I would put my house on it. I'm telling you, but he was like awesome interview. Came in, shot the shit with us. Like, yeah, he was awesome, man. I mean, that guy knows his stuff, man.
He does. And like, I could see him definitely a head coaching job, him and his brother. And I think wherever Mark ends up going, he's going to bring Matt with him because Matt knows hockey too. Like, and Matt was one of the toughest junior C players in his era. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I just love seeing the local guys just do awesome, especially when it comes to being the quality hockey players they were, and then going and adding that to their communities and you know what I mean?
100%. Like, that's how I feel. I mean, the hockey world has given me so much, and that's kind of why I'm in coaching now. Like, I want to have the opportunity to give back. And, like, professionally, I coach on the female side, but I still do a lot of development work with youth teams on the boys side. So I kind of hit both sides of that, and it's enjoyable. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's just so much fun. And it's always nice. Like, I work with post-secondary age players right now on the female side. And then, every once in a while I'll get to go out for like the U11 boys group with one of my buddies that coaches in town here. And then it's just like those goofy little bobbleheads out there smiling, like you can joke around with those kids, and it's just a blast, right? It's a nice change of pace. And, so there's those kids that are super eager sponges that just want to soak up every single word you say. And then the other kids, you got to fight for their attention. So it's a whole new challenge when you do that kind of stuff compared to, the level that I'm at. I mean, there's still a little bit of that at times, but.
Hey, okay, let me ask you a question, Chris. So is it easier to coach girls than it is to coach boys?
I 100% think so. Yes. It's just detail oriented. In my experience,
are they not more sponges than boys?
Yeah.
Would you not
for
say?
For the most part, yeah. In my experience, the girls are just, they don't maybe grow up watching hockey every day. They don't grow up playing video games. They don't like know every single player on every team, right? Like, it's starting to change now with the visibility for the female game and the professionalism of it that's coming around. But that's the difference, in my opinion. The boys just understand the game better, but the girls, you can teach them way better. Because sometimes you get the boys that are like, oh, I know everything, and then they don't want to listen to you, right? But then the girls are just eager to learn. Like, that's been my experience at least. So to your point, 100%. I female side.
All I'm thinking about them, Chris, is standing in line, and you got 5 boys standing in line, and you got 5 girls standing in line, and they're waiting for their next position. The boys are kicking each other's feet out, and they're punching each other
at each other. Yeah,
and they're just being dicks, right? Like, but the girls, they're ready to go. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, to that point, like I've started a spring hockey program out here, or help run a spring hockey program out here, Central Alberta Longhorns. I was coaching 2 different teams. I had a girls team, and I had a boys team, like U13, U11, sorry. And there's this one kid that just never listened. Like, the whole time he's doing exactly what you said, Rob. He's like pushing the skates out of his buddy from underneath of him. He's like cross-checking him in the head, like punching him and like undoing his straps. And one day I'm up at the board drawing a drill, and I see him out of the corner of my eye, like he's fucking around, not paying attention. And I'm like, I got him here. And I'm like, I won't name names, but I'm like, hey buddy, like, you know exactly what we're doing? He goes, oh yeah. I'm like, okay, explain the drill. And he fucking nailed it.
Oh, he knew it.
Like, he was not paying attention for 1 second. And that freaking kid, like, he detailed the drill exactly as I explained it. I'm like, yes, you're right. I'm like, let's go do the drill now.
You were probably like, you fucker. You probably thought you had him, eh?
And then you caught him with his head down.
Yeah. In the trolley tracks. But no, he
reverse hit you.
Stay in your lane, boy.
Oh.
Stay in your lane.
Kids like that, they absorb everything. They can be just fucking around, but he absorbs everything.
I don't even need to listen to the coach. I got this.
Yeah.
That sucks.
It was funny though. It was humbling, I guess, to say the least.
Mm-hmm. Before we skip over LaSalle, you actually played with one of my buddies there, Mike Scoobs. You played with Scoobs. Saligny, yeah. He's fucking so good, that guy. He's just silky smooth.
Yeah, man. I was there for, I think, I was like player, coach. That's kind of where I ended up packing it in. We won the Sutherland Cup. We won all Ontario's my second year there. I came back halfway through, and then 2009, 2010, we had a pretty stacked team. A lot of good players, like Ryan Baldwin came back from the Spits, and just you couldn't mess with him, right? He could beat you anyway. He could out-skill you. He could out-muscle you. He could beat you up. Like, he could make you look silly. Sliggs was the same way, tough as nails, man. That guy, like, we had such a stacked decor. Like, he was incredible. Like, just a beauty of a guy too, right? Like, he was so fun to be around, and and then you could just turn it on, and you weren't getting by him, and no one was stronger than that guy. and that was like, we had a pretty old decor, like Dave Sharp was one of our D-men too. And I'll never forget this. Sorry. We were in the playoffs. We were playing St. Mary's, and Seth Griffith played for St. Mary's. And I remember Sharpie just, like, he separated his shoulder on the play and then played the rest of the playoffs and everything with it. And he just strapped it down. He came across the ice and he knocked out Griffith. And then that kind of turned caught him in the trolley tracks. He was dangling. He was a first year, like a 16-year-old, and Sharpie just tuned him. And then that, I think, changed the whole kind of trajectory of the series, because we were kind of battling uphill at that point. And then we came back and we ended up going all the way and winning it. Like, we played St. Thomas in the finals that year, and that was a battle. They had a bunch of really good, skilled, big, good, tough, aggressive players, and like, that was a grind. Like that whole experience was pretty fun. And I got to do it as coach. Like, I played half that year, and then like I mentioned, I had concussion problems, and I was fortunate enough that the coach at the time, John Nelson's like, hey, like, you're an older guy on the team. The boys respect you. We like having you around. You can't play. Like, what do you think about coming on the bench with us and kind of being like player coach, like the liaison between the two? And that was kind of where my coaching career kickstarted at 19. It was my 20-year-old year. So that was kind of the start of, and led me to where I'm at now, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because by the time you were 21, 22, you were on the bench with the Addies, right?
Yeah, I was with LaSalle, I think, for 2 years after that season. And then we actually got to be bringing that whole process of bringing that program to Amherstburg with Greg Primack. He had coached the Vipers for 1 year that I was there. He was on staff, and he asked me, he's like, you're a young guy, you want to get into coaching, this would be a perfect opportunity for you. So that was kind of a really cool experience to see, the administrative side of it, the fundraising, the community engagement, all the pieces that go into building a successful program. And, I got to coach there for a year. My younger brother, Cody, was on that team so I got to coach him, which was a pretty cool experience as well. And, it was a lot of fun.
So that was the old Kingsville team that moved there, right?
Yeah, the Comets. I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but they sold it to them, and Amherstburg started up a new program with that new arena. How long ago was that arena built? That's a nice facility there, but it
still is.
Yeah, it still is. So they wanted to bring it to an area that maybe had a better draw zone, right? Because you can get kids from LaSalle, you can get kids from Windsor. It's a little bit closer than Kingsville, right? So, but yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, because those guys got a good squad over there too. They battle here in town all the time. Them and the frickin' threes go at it all the time when they play each other. It's always good hockey games.
Yeah. Is you were still involved in that?
I'm not sure.
No.
Yeah, he might not.
He's done now.
Yeah.
Wants to join our podcast.
Yeah, he's one of the ones who wrote in, definitely. So
he's the third man. Oh boy.
Well, we have what we did.
I said, this is all I need, Chris. Is 2 fucking ants on here.
So we threw out a thing, and Wes was one of the ones that wrote in. So there's like 6 or 7 so far that wrote in. We're gonna wait another week or so, and then we're probably gonna start like shooting the shit with these people. But don't worry about that. So after
fuck you, Wes.
So after Amherstburg, you went on to the University of Windsor, correct?
Yeah, so that year in Amherstburg, actually, I forget how we got connected, but a guy named Mike Heikkinen, he's a Windsor firefighter. Mm-hmm. He was the other assistant coach in Amherstburg, and he had a connection with Jim Hunter, who was the head coach of the Windsor Lancers, the women's team. And at the time, Jim was a part-time coach. He was working full-time for Bell Canada, and one of the practice times that they had, he couldn't make it, so he needed a couple guys to go run one practice a week. So we took that on, and that's kind of how I got involved in that. And then the next year he asked me to come out and join him. So I got to coach there for 3 years, which is perfect because I was going to the U. I was living in Windsor, so it was pretty close. It was just up here on Church there. Mm-hmm. That was a lot of fun. That was pretty cool. Like the post-secondary world is totally different than the junior world. Like, and especially that was kind of my first foray into the female side. And I'll never forget it. The first freaking day, like first practice, I'm like, okay, like got to make a good first impression out here. I go out there and step on a freaking puck and like eat shit on the ice. And like all the girls are just like, who's this clown? Like laughing at me. So I'll never forget that. That was one of my,
They were laughing at you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you bag skate him?
Yeah.
I would have bag skated him.
No, I told
You're
him,
the
like,
last
"Jim, like,
me.
stop it."
Like,
It'll be
oh,
the
yeah,
last
that's funny.
time you do
Take a
that.
lap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I'll
funny.
never, another thing with, coaching the girls, right? You gotta be, change your vernacular a bit. I want to be respectful and, professional when I'm talking to them. And I was talking to them about blocking shots. And I was like showing how to do it, go down on one knee. And I'm like, and then you got to, like, you can put your hands in front of you to protect and I like looked up and I had like 6D looking at me and I'm like, protect your bird. And they're all like, got it, coach, protect the bird. And then like every time they'd block a shot, they'd come off the ice and yell, see, protected the bird, coach.
Yeah. Looking after my bird.
Yeah, not let me live that one down. So thanks for that.
Well, it's got to be so tough, right?
Yeah.
Like you talk to the guys and and it is what it is.
Yeah.
And then you have to, even when you go to say it, you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
So I caught myself in that moment because I looked up and then there was, like I said, the 6 or 7 defense were just staring at me. And I'm like, I'm not saying that word.
Hey, so is freaking coaching something you've kind of always wanted to do after you were done playing, or is it something that just kind of hopped up on you and you're like, let's just like try it out, or was that like something you've always wanted to do?
Well, you kind of went to school for it, didn't you?
Yeah, a little. Like I think a lot of things just kind of fell into place for it, and it kind of worked out. Like I was playing, and like any kid growing up, you get drafted, and you think you're the next best thing, and you're gonna go play pro hockey or whatever, and things didn't work out. And then I got, like I said, it was kind of a blessing in disguise. And in LaSalle, there, I got an opportunity to get on the bench right away, and I also had been doing some skill development stuff with proven performance hockey with the coach of the Vipers as well, John Nelson. So teaching was something that was fun, and hockey is just, you're passionate about it. So it didn't never seem like work to me. When I finished my undergrad, I did a criminology, political science major. And then I, was trying to figure out what I was going to do next. I'm like, oh, I enjoy teaching. Like, let's kind of explore that. And then our group was the first group that went through the 2-year program. The B.Ed program used to just be 1, and they shifted it to 2. So we were kind of a little bit of guinea pigs at that point. But I was in the primary junior, so I was like kindergarten to grade 6. But thankfully, I never had any kindergarten placements because I don't know how I would have handled that. But yeah, and then I just kept coaching. Like I get opportunities here. We do some spring hockey stuff, more, skills development stuff. And it kind of just caught on. I'm like, I get to stay in the game and give back to a game and a community that's given me so much. And that was important to me, right? That gave me, some value in life. And, I was able to add value to other people, like the youth, the kids that I get to work with, the university players. Like it was just something that kept kind of building momentum, I guess. And here I am now. I'm 32. I've been coaching for 13 years. I think that's crazy. A long time for most people my age. Like, and at a high level, I've never actually coached minor hockey, believe it or not. It's only been junior hockey or post-secondary. So by the sounds of it, I've missed, I'm not missing some certain aspects of that. Like parents can be crazy. I've heard some stories, and I talked to Purse. Like Purse has been coaching junior hockey. He's done a great job. He's made a good name for himself. He's coaching junior as well. Like but I hear parent stories all the time, and like, I'm okay with not necessarily coaching minor hockey at times.
Oh my God.
I get to do the spring hockey stuff and the skill development. And then it's kind of, there's no pressure with that, right? Like parents aren't going to get mad. Well, they shouldn't get mad. I hope not, but
I remember Sunday nights when you came fresh out of fucking junior, and like you and like Coxie and like you guys come fresh out of there right in the Sunday night. And like I'm thinking like these kids come out and they're buzzing all over the place. I'm like, holy shit. And like these guys are taking they're not even cranking up slap shots. These guys are taking snapshots, and it's like harder than most guys slap shots. I was just amazed at just watching you guys take over games, because that league is still actually to this day one of the better like men's leagues in this area anyways. And just watching you guys take over games and stuff, and the way you guys played together and everything, and just watching you guys shoot and everything, it was fun to watch. It was fun to watch. I never got to actually play on your squad, but I watched you score a lot of goals against us. So yeah, that was fun, I guess.
Yeah, I love that. That was fun for me, right? Like that's with all the local guys that we grew up playing with, and then like older group like you guys, like Howell and Deslips and Farmer and all those guys. Like that was a lot of fun, and it was fun that we won a couple times too. So
And we might have drank a beer or two.
yeah, a couple beers.
Here.
So now, coaching at the university level, like, do you ever run into parents that are like, hey, I don't like the time my daughter's getting?
So I guess I found a way to mitigate that a little bit. In the recruitment process, I think it's not tryout based, right? Like you get the opportunity to bring in the people that you want that fit the mold, that are, kind of fit, the values and structure that you want for your program. So I include parents in the recruitment process because I think it's an important aspect of it that they are included in, deciding their daughter's future, right? Like, are they sending them away from home? Are they only moving an hour away? Are they moving like provinces away? Then they can't see them all the time. Like, so I include them in that part. But then, when they're here, I'm like, you're an adult, like, and I'm going to treat you like an adult unless you give me a reason not to. So, I found that to be successful. So, I haven't actually had, in my 5 years at the post-secondary as a head coach with my own program, very few parents conversations about that stuff. And to be honest, the couple that I've had, you just kind of dismiss it and you go talk to the kid. I'm like, I'm not, not that I don't want to build good relationships with the parents. I just like, I'm not, it's not what I'm here for. Like, if your kid has a problem, they can come and talk to me, or, like I said, we're developing them to be confident, competent young adults. And that's part of the process, right? If you don't like something, let's have a conversation about it. Just, we're trying to prepare them for the real world afterwards. And if mom and dad are going to call, the workforce, they're going to call your boss at work and say, I don't like how many hours my son or daughter's working, like, you're not helping them. Kind of thing, right?
No, I was just curious, like, like going up through the ranks, like, and I'm not talking about the university part, but so many parents, like I've sat around a table where a 10-year-old comes into the kitchen where the adults are having a beverage and says, I can't believe I was on that line. I shouldn't have been on that line with that guy, and that guy, like, I should be on this line. And the dad's like, where did you hear that? And well, mom said, what I mean? Like, and that's where it all goes south.
Yeah. Parents can get in their kids' ears. I guess I've had that instance a few times, and I've asked that question directly. I'm like, is this your, are these your thoughts and comments, or is this coming from somewhere else? And then they kind of him and ha, and they don't want to say mom and dad said this, but
right.
Again, part of my approach is I want, part of my coaching philosophy is transparent communication. Like, I'm not going to bullshit anyone. So don't try to bullshit me. I expect it to be reciprocated. So, it's just building relationships with them and connecting with them as people so that they're not trying to pull a fast one on you. You earn respect, you give respect to earn it. And I found that that's worked for me. Like I said, there's always that odd parent that kind of, finds a way to be the squeaky wheel, I guess. But, for the most part, with the program that I've had so far, there hasn't been any, issues like that, or parents come to me like complaining about it. Right. So I guess I've been fortunate in that sense.
That's awesome. Like, well, you got the reins, right? So anybody, so you seem to have an open door policy when it comes to the girls and your coaching style.
Yeah. Like I mentioned, I'll just kind of share my coaching philosophy a little bit here. So the first thing I said was transparent communication. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, if we're going to make progress as myself and an individual and just as a team, if we're not being honest about things, whether it's a hard discussion to have, we're not going to make any progress. I'm not the type of person, like, I'm sure maybe you guys have played sports. You might have had a coach that came in, tear a strip off you and like beat you down and belittled you, right? And I'm a motivator. Well, I don't, that's not my style. This is what's happening. This is where we want to be. let's problem solve. Let's get through this together. Like, I'm not going to sit here and point fingers and blame people or, say, you guys are shit because this is happening. It's like, hey, this is the reality. This is where we're at. This is the realistic situation that we're in. How do we get through it? And I really try to empower them to work through it themselves. Right. My approach is I don't want robots that are just going to go through the motions. I want people that are going to be able to make decisions for themselves. And learn that way, because then they're doing. I learned through doing a lot of stuff instead of just being told. Right? What's that saying? You show a man how to fish, eat for life, or I don't know. I totally botched it, but you know what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. Or he'll starve forever. Yeah.
I should have just tried to work through it, and it just would have been a Rickyism from Trailer Park Boys. But then the other aspect is just like self-care and developing a foundation of balanced well-being. So, at that age, 18 plus, like the three key things that they're focused on as a student athlete is their academics, their relationships, right? Friends, family, significant other, and then athletics. So, if you're not balanced as an individual, like if you're, mentally, emotionally, physically not up to par, you're not taking care of yourself, those three things, those key priorities in your life aren't going to be able to be balanced as well, right? Like if your foundation's cracked or incomplete, you keep piling stuff on top of it and it's going to crumble eventually, right? Everything becomes overwhelming. So those are kind of the three main pillars of what we do and what I believe in. I mentioned it earlier a little bit, like my main goal is just to develop confident, competent young women. That's who I'm working with at the moment. And so that they can go add value to whatever team they join next. So when I say team, I use air quotes because it could be another sport, another hockey team. It could be a work team. Like you move on and get a career. We want them to go out there and be like, hey, like I learned a lot from this experience here. We've got it took a lot of hours, but our process, we do a lot of value-based culture and leadership development. Buzzword, I guess, is culture, but it's just, in my definition of it, it's just the things that you do every day, right? How you treat each other, how you interact, what you say, what you do. And I think success really is preceded by the strength of the culture and how you can, collectively and cohesively lend your strengths to one another. And kind of the process that we went through that I implemented this year, I was about July, I sent out a questionnaire and just, wanted the girls to give some definitions on, what being a good teammate meant, what their definition of adversity and leadership. And there was about 20 questions in this pack. And then once everyone came together, we kind of broke up into groups and I had them all summarize all of their answers. So I took all the names out so no one knew who said what, but I had them all summarize what they did. And then they came up with 4 kind of key themes, which was discipline, respect, purpose, and well-being. So what that enabled us to do was like it gave the girls a platform to manage themselves, right? With a team, any team, like there's always going to be conflict and controversy and issues. And it just really gave them some key things that we all agreed upon, that those were their words, right? Those are the things that they wanted. So essentially they decided how they wanted to be managed themselves. And then we just enforce it, right? So when you have to have a difficult conversation, it's, hey, I don't feel, your actions here were respectful. And then it's like, yeah, you're right, I wasn't. And you can't challenge it, right? It's not someone's like personal opinion where like, I just think you're being a piece of shit and I hate you because I wouldn't do it that way. Mm-hmm. Right. It's like, hey, we agreed upon these things, and our team was really successful with it this year. Like this was, we won our first playoff. Like the program I'm with is pretty young. It's going into its 8th year. They'd never won a playoff series. They never won a playoff game, and we made it to the finals, and we ended up losing this year in the finals. So that was pretty big. And it was just, we started with 24 players, and by the time we got to playoffs, we had 15. Wow. Like we can dress 20. We lost players, academic ineligibility, injuries, just any number of things. People just chose, I guess ultimately my goal is to create a culture where if you're not a good person, you can't exist there. And we had some people that just couldn't be there. And, they said they didn't want to come back after Christmas. I'm like, all right, we'll move forward. It was kind of that addition by subtraction thing. And like, I remember one game we won our playoff series with 9 forwards, 4D, and 1 goalie.
Wow.
And usually you've got 12, 6, and 2, right? Like you've got 20 dressed. We had 14 dressed that game, or 15 dressed that game. So it was pretty incredible that the team rallied around that, and they believed in themselves. And like I said, like that whole process, I think, had a really big impact on it. So I know that was a long-winded answer, but that's what we've kind of, functioned off of last year. And that's what allowed us to be successful.
Hey, you just kind of started a new job kind of recently, didn't you?
I did, actually. It was just announced today. I'm going to be the interim head coach for the McEwen Griffins. So that's the U Sport level. So the Olds College was in the ACAC, the Alberta Collegiate Athletic Conference, and then now McEwen actually was in our conference, and then they went up to U Sport 2 years ago. So they're fairly new to this, to the Canada West Division. So it would be, if we had national championship, we could play University of Windsor, Guelph, kind of Western. We're just a different province.
And that's still the ladies like side of it, right?
Women's hockey still, yeah.
Okay, I love that you're just working the fucking game out there, man, the like ladies side of the game, because I kind of like where it's headed now. Like it's on an up, right? It's on a big up. Like probably 10-15 years ago, you probably didn't really hear a whole lot when it comes to women's, like whether it be college or whatever. You didn't really hear a lot about it. Now you're starting to hear a lot more about it, which is a good sign for hockey.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you had a couple Team Canada Olympians on a little while back there. That was pretty cool. I listened to that one. But yeah, the women's game's blown up, right? And honestly, like you kind of mentioned it earlier, Rob, the game isn't so physical. I mean, it's still physical, but it's not like fight and smash and bash everyone. And it's like the game's gone to, like, the men's game is almost kind of transitioning a bit towards the female game, because there's no body checking in women's hockey, but there's contact. Like, that's one of the skills we teach, is angling to contact. If you're traveling in the same direction and you cut their hands off and separate from the puck, like,
right, you can check the stick.
Yeah. Well, I teach them how to body check.
Yeah. You rub them out. You can rub them out.
Yeah. You can play physical. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But have you tried that Rickyism? What goes around is all around.
Yeah.
And it's just water under the fridge.
Yeah. Each cake.
Rob's been over there just smiling ever since you said that. The Ricky is.
And I had 100 of them, but then he keeps talking so intelligent. I keep forgetting them all.
Hey, so what about off the ice? So what do you like to do off the ice when you're away from the rink and all the hockey chaos and everything that you're doing? Like
when you're all alone by yourself.
Yeah.
Like, what do you like to do?
Well, I'm full transparency. I'm a nerd. I like to read books. I'm a professional development guy. I like to it's like culture stuff. Yeah, it's just what I've done in my whole life. I don't know.
I mean, honestly, in the nicest way, though.
No, it's all good.
So this is what I wanted to ask you, Chris, too. Like, I get it that. So like, do you read coaching books? Like, do you read like coaches that have written books about their style, to get the best out of you know what I mean?
Yeah. I've actually, one of the best books I've read, and I really recommend anybody that's in a coaching position to read it. It's called The Barcelona Way: How to Create a Culture, or I forget exactly. It's got a subtitle to it, but it's called The Barcelona Way. Never was a soccer fan growing up. Like, I never played soccer. I played hockey and baseball strictly, and probably threw out some soccer jokes along the way too, right? But just the way that they
like pussy, like whatever, like I don't mean it.
The whole diving thing,
like
the whole diving thing.
Pansy.
You get hit and you stay down, or you see them sell it, but whatever. That's that book itself, I've gotten so much information from. So yeah, to answer your question, that's probably the best book I read. Like, Legacy is about the All Blacks, the New Zealand, the rugby team. Like, that's a pretty incredible book.
Yep. There's a movie. I saw the movie.
There is a movie? I didn't know.
Yep.
I just added something to my list to do. Thanks, Rob.
Yep.
Who's the
I read that kind of stuff. I grew up, like, my dad introduced me to like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings when I was a kid. So I got into reading all those books. So sometimes I do a little sci-fi.
Mandalorian.
Yeah, Mandalorian, Kenobi
love
series.
that.
I really enjoyed
Could
that.
never get into that shit, man. I could never get
No?
into
Oh,
it.
I like
I
that
was
shit
never a
too.
Star Trek guy, but Star Wars I got into.
No, I grew up watching Star Trek with my dad, like the OG Star Trek, you know, like
Yeah.
The original.
Yeah.
you know, like that, right? Like, but you know, and then what is his name?
Spock.
The new Captain Kirk now.
Captain Kirk. Oh, I don't know. Like I said, I never really got into it.
Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. I love it. But anyways,
Jesus.
way
God.
off topic. But like I tend to go to left field on these interviews. So
That's all good. But that's what I do. Yeah, I like to read. Like I said earlier, when we've got some off time, Court and I like to get out to the mountains, go do some hikes, go see get some views. Like we've got some pretty incredible photos. Like I've just got a whole photo album on my phone that I want to get blown up into canvases, and like you just put them up around your house because it's just so incredible. And then you took the picture, so it's kind of cool too, right?
Mhm.
yeah. I'd be the one at the base of the hill taking the picture. Like,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Or find someone else's photo.
Right. And then post it on my wall. So send me some pictures.
Yeah.
It'll be awesome.
Check your inbox after the interview. So yeah, I do that. I like to keep, I try to work out, take care of myself, just so I can be like, I really stress the strength and conditioning side for the hockey, because it's really important nowadays, especially, you're not hacking darts between periods or drinking beers at intermission, like Harrow Senior League. But like if I want to be the model of that, I need to, kind of
put the booblies away.
Yeah. Practice what I preach.
Snaps open a boobly right at the beginning. Like that's probably the worst opening thing ever.
I'm gonna tell you something though. Here's my favorite drink though. I do gin, bubbly, a little bit of spicy pineapple ginger beer with a lime in it and some ice. It's incredible.
Oh, you like to lose your underwear.
Oh, is that what happens?
With the gin? I drank gin once.
And
that's what happened.
Underwear?
I had no underwear for the rest of the year.
Not just the night, the year.
No, not just the night. I lost all my underwear.
Jesus.
That's never happened.
This has been so awesome, Chris. Like we're so glad that you've come on the show, and we wish you the best the next season coming up, and I hope you keep in touch with us, and I think that you really got this dialed in for these girls.
Yeah, man.
I see a championship in your future, bro.
This has been a long time coming, you on the show too. Like I know you and I have shot the shit a few different times about it, but then we just couldn't line up our times and everything. So I'm glad now that we finally did. You are welcome anytime on the show, dude. Good luck. And we'll be like following you for sure, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Like I said, it's always good to support local. I mean, I guess I'm not technically local there now, but grew up in the area, and I've known you for a long time. And Rob, also, just by association through other people too. And be more than happy to come back on. I got lots of stuff I can talk about. Never even got into some. I know Purse was talking about his Mexico stories there.
But are these stories that you can talk about on the podcast?
Probably not.
No, I'll just add one thing there. Like he left this part out. Couple things, like the night before we went there, we had our Christmas Secret Santa. So it was I don't think anyone even slept that night. We just went straight to the flight. So it was a battle, to say the least. There was a couple drinks that night, and boys had some fun, but like he went into detail of it. Like the food was a totally different experience. I remember one day we found a McDonald's somewhere in the middle of Mexico City, and the boys just went nuts. Like
37 cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
Stacked.
Everything you got, give it to us.
That's hilarious, man. Fucking great.
Yeah,
that's so awesome. And I want the big bag of French fries.
Yeah.
You guys have White Castle does the 30 pack. I want that for that McDonald's.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Well, that's all. If the food was that bad, that's all I would be eating when I was in Mexico.
I would shit my brains out.
Because I went to the Dominican, And the only thing that I could eat there was their chicken and French fries. Everything
a week
other than breakfast, like they make
the
your
eggs,
scrambled
and bacon,
eggs, your omelets, and shit like that. But like anything else was just bland. Like it was so bland. And they're like, bring your ketchup packages, bring your Frank's Red Hot, bring your like just to, you know what I mean? Make it okay.
Yeah.
The only trip I've been on like that, Mike Houston got married. He did a destination wedding at St. Lucia, and the resort we stayed at had some pretty incredible food. But we actually did an excursion and we went off site. We took this boat and we did like snorkeling. We went and did these like volcanic like mud bath thing, and then like they brought us to like a farm restaurant, so all of the food that we ate there was grown right on site, and like it was incredible. We don't even know what we were eating. We're just like, that looks good, that looks like a giant arancini rice ball. They're like, oh yeah, like be careful with the hot sauce, it's really hot. And it was freaking hot. Like it was so flaky. Like
everybody had the shits for 2 days.
One of those, you're shitting and you're sweating, you're on the shitter nude, just sweating your balls off.
Like the resort had a bunch of pools and stuff, right? You know, Rents, like Terry Ryan.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We were hanging out the one day, and he, for some reason, a pool noodle floated over to him. He decided to do a beer bong out of it, and then he had stomach flu for like the next 2 days.
No rents.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So he didn't come on the excursion. He missed that part.
Oh my gosh. Hey, do you got a funny story about our boy Brandon there? Do you got anything on him that would be funny to tell?
Des?
Yeah.
Oh, here's one. Yeah, I shared this at the funeral there too, and it's just the one. I don't know. I'll never forget this. It was just such a Brandon moment. It was so silly. Like, so we went to Nashville for his bachelor party. It was during like the week of St. Patty's Day, so like we picked a really good time. It was pretty. It was no fun actually. Like
terrible time.
It was zero fun. But we had like 14 guys that went, so we had like Airbnb 2 different condos, so they were on different floors in the same building, so we allocated one as the party room and one as the downtime room. If you wanted to just go take a nap or you had too much fun that day, you had to go into that room. Mm-hmm. And we were just out, I don't know, it might have been the first or second night, like it's all a blur really. And it was like a 3-level bar. It was early on the strip, and like he and I walked up and we're just like, all right, man, like maybe we should mix a water in. So we go to the bar. We're like, hey, like, can we get a glass of water? And we look at each other. We're like, and a beer and a shot of tequila. So we sit there, we do the shot, we chug the beer, and then we go out on the patio there and we look down and Coxie, I think it was Pat, and I don't even know. I think Jordan Howell was down there too, or somebody. I think maybe Dylan Deslip. And I look up and I'm like, hey, Coxie. And I drop my glass. It was a plastic cup full of water and ice. And it just missed him. And then Brandon, you know, his laugh, right? Like that. He does that. And he goes and drops his. But as soon as he goes to drop his, the bouncer looked up and saw him do it. And he's on the mic right away. He's like, tan hat, 3rd floor, get him out of here. So we see this happen. I'm like, Bez, we got to get out of here before we get manhandled by these giant bouncers and dragged down the stairs. So we're walking down the stairs and they all sprinted up and they see us and they grab us. And we're like, no, man, we're walking ourselves out. It's all good. It's all good. And they just obviously roughed us up a bit and pushed us out. And then we just went to another bar and, you know, carried on with our night.
Did the same thing.
Yeah. And then there's actually another one. There's one really good one. This is another funny story, man. And I sat there and watched him do this for like 20 minutes. So it was at Coyote Ugly. It was like at the end of the strip. The bar's kind of like you walk in, it's like a long strip, and then there's like a sidebar with like some seating and stuff in the bathrooms over there. And right in the middle, it was one of those punching bag things. You know, those things where you put the
how hard you can punch.
So he was just standing there. He had like 4 or 5 beers kind of on the shelf on the counter there next to him. And he was just hanging out, and he was just like, he's just, you know, Bezaire, like unassuming. He's such a good dude. He's just like, he'd make eye contact with someone and like put money in the machine and like press it and be like, okay, you're up. And the guy or girl would go hit it, and he'd just be like, and he would go headbutt it harder than most of those guys were punching it.
I could see him doing that.
And he just stare him down, right? Like that was a lot of fun. And man, like yeah, like I wanted to say, like, thank you guys, did an awesome job, bringing him on here and letting him share his story, and that guy's gonna be missed a lot. Like, he was one of my best friends, and just an incredible person. And he was gonna be in my wedding, and obviously he didn't make it. And Amy still came out, and that was pretty special for us. We set up, we got his Whalers jersey. We still set up plate or a setting for him, and got a photo of him and set him up there. And the whole night, Troy Cox, he's like, oh, I gotta go bring Brandon a beer. So at the end of the night, there was like 6 beers and a coffee at his spot there. And so we kept bringing him drinks all night. It was kind of cool that, Amy got to come and be a part of that. So
the funniest part is I could hear that laugh.
Yeah.
Because we've heard it so many times over the years, right? So but yeah, that's a great way to end this, Chris. Great way to end this. So thanks again, man. Like I said,
can I just say, I just need to say one thing about Brandon. So I never got to meet him like the way you guys did, but we set something up, like, so we had him on the show, and it's like, we got to interview this guy, and I'm like, I'm down. I'm so down. So we get him on the show, and he ends up being one of my best friends. You know what I mean? Like in the matter of an hour. That's
him. That's the guy.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm the same guy too. Right. So next thing you know, it's like, well, we need to bring him on again. I said, yeah, but like, okay, so let's do that. But in the same time, I said, I'm going to grow my hair out while you're going through your chemo and all that stuff. I said, and then like when it comes right down to it, I will let you cut my hair. I said, whatever you want. And he's like, can I cut a big penis in it? I'm like, no, you can't cut a big penis in it. Fuck's sakes.
Yeah,
I said, but
big response.
Right. So he shows up, and this is the first time I meet him. And this is kind of during COVID, but he doesn't care anymore. Like he's just like, fuck it. Right. So I shake his hand, and he's like, what do you think about a mullet? I'm like, well, it's hockey season, bro. Let's go. So Ant has video. I don't know if he has it anymore, but I'm sure he does somewhere. But he cuts my hair, and then we put it. I'm wearing the Brandon's Army shirt, and I do a slow-mo fucking. Yeah, I'll get. I don't know if Ant still has it, but I'll send it to you. And it was
it was funny,
priceless,
because how it like started is we did it kind of like a thing where Rob was like running his mouth to me about his hair and stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, well, I brought in a friend, and then I like panned over the camera slowly, and it was Brandon standing there smiling. And then he just started fucking cutting Rob's hair.
It was one of the greatest moments I ever got to meet somebody in my entire life. Like just a total beauty. And the only thing I regret of his funeral was that I didn't go up and say anything to his wife. I have a really hard time with it ever since my mom passed. And every time somebody went up to her, she was bawling her eyes out. So I didn't want to add to it. But if there's ever another time that I can go and talk to her, I will definitely tell her that story about my first time meeting him.
Yeah.
She'll love that.
And I'm sure she's gonna listen to this and she'll know. And I just didn't want to put more on her plate. That's all. I sat in the back with Sacker and I watched all the people come in, and you know what I mean? Like it was a really tough time.
Yeah, that was a long week, but
yeah,
he would have wanted us to not mourn and be all sad,
right?
Like,
so, and I didn't want to make his wife any sadder than she already was. So, yeah.
It was good. And B's just, like I said, I think about him all the time, and I'm sure you do too, and I'm sure Rob does once in a while. And
there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about him.
Yeah, he's just one of those guys.
Not a day that goes by that I don't think about him.
Yeah, he's just one of those guys. He
was aces. He reminds me so much of Sacker. Just a good human being. Like, and I would have loved to have talked to him every day.
And fuck cancer, by the way.
Fuck cancer.
Yeah, we'll throw that in. So Lem, once again, thanks, brother. Really, so good luck. Stay in touch. And we will sit down and rock this out again soon, buddy.
For sure. Looking forward to it. Thanks, fellas. Appreciate you inviting me on.
The ace of spades. The ace of spades.
I gotta ask my dad.
Let's do that.
All right, brother. Thanks, Chris.
See you, buddy.
I lost my